Doc. Please understand. I love you, but I'm just not Lula May anymore.
In 1967, at just 38 years old, Audrey Hepburn walked away from Hollywood. She was at the peak of her fame, beloved, iconic, untouchable. But the world didn't know what she was running from, or more accurately, what she could never escape.
That's right.
Audrey Hepburn wasn't supposed to be a star. Born in 1929 as Audrey Kathleen Rustin, she spent her childhood dreaming of becoming a ballerina. Elegant, graceful, disciplined. But then the war came, and everything changed. From ages 10 to 16, Audrey lived in Nazi-occupied Holland. She watched neighbors disappear. She saw executions in the streets. Her family was starving. To survive, she ate tulip bulbs. She danced in secret underground performances to raise money for the Dutch resistance. She was a courier, a child smuggling messages in her shoes. She should have died. Many around her did. But Audrey survived, and when the war ended, she buried it all. She moved to London. She worked as a model. She took small acting roles. And in 1953, she was cast in Roman Holiday. Opposite Gregory Peck, a newcomer, an unknown. And overnight, she became a sensation. She won the Oscar.
Ladies and gentlemen, in New York City, Miss Audrey Hepburn in Roman Holiday.
She became the face of elegance. The world fell in love with her smile, her voice, her presence. She was everything Hollywood wanted, but no one asked what she wanted or what she was hiding. By the mid-1960s, Audrey Hepburn was one of the most famous women in the world. Breakfast at Tiffanys, My Fair Lady, Charade. She wasn't just an actress. She was an icon, a symbol of grace, beauty, and sophistication. Designers like Givenchy dressed her. Photographers like Richard Avedon immortalized her. The public adored her. But behind the carefully curated image, something was breaking. Audrey rarely spoke about her childhood. In interviews, she'd deflect. She'd smile. She'd change the subject. But those who knew her saw the cracks. She suffered from severe anxiety. She had chronic health issues, lingering effects of malnutrition during the war. She struggled with the pressure of Hollywood's impossible standards, and she was terrified of being trapped. She gave everything to her roles, to her fans, to the image. But inside, she was still that little girl hiding from soldiers, still hungry, still scared. And Hollywood didn't care. In 1967, after filming Wait Until Dark, Audrey made a decision that shocked the industry. She chose her children over her career. She moved to Switzerland. She stepped away from Hollywood. She turned down role after role, films that would have kept her at the top. And the world didn't understand. The media speculated. Was she difficult? Was she losing her looks? Had she been pushed out? The truth was far more painful. Audrey couldn't do it anymore. For years, she'd performed. She'd smiled. She'd played the part of the perfect star. But the trauma she carried, the war, the starvation, the loss, it never left. And Hollywood demanded she keep pretending it didn't exist. She'd survived the war by disappearing, by staying small, by not drawing attention. And now, at the height of her fame, the world wanted her to be seen constantly, photographed, judged, consumed. It was suffocating. So she left, not because she stopped loving acting, but because she needed to heal. She needed silence. She needed control. She needed to stop running from the ghosts of her childhood. But Hollywood doesn't forgive women who choose themselves, and the industry moved on without her. For the next 2 decades, Audrey Hepburn lived quietly in Switzerland. She took only a handful of roles, small parts, projects she believed in, nothing like the frenzied pace of her early career. The tabloids occasionally checked in. Where is Audrey Hepburn? Has she retired for good? But she didn't owe them an answer. Instead, she turned her pain into purpose. In 1988, she became a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador. She traveled to Ethiopia, Sudan, Bangladesh, places ravaged by famine and war. And for the first time in her life, she spoke openly about her childhood, about starvation, about fear, about survival. The elegant movie star became something more. She became a witness, a voice for the voiceless. She finally found a way to make sense of what she'd endured. But by then, Hollywood had long forgotten her. And in 1993, at just 63 years old, Audrey Hepburn passed away from cancer. The world mourned the icon, but few understood the woman. Today, Audrey Hepburn is remembered as one of the greatest stars of Hollywood's golden age. Her films are timeless. Her style is still emulated. Her face is still iconic. But her legacy is more than that. She's remembered as a humanitarian, as someone who used her voice for good, as someone who chose compassion over fame. The Audrey Hepburn Children's Fund continues her work. Thousands of children have been helped in her name. The trauma she carried, the war, the hunger, the fear, it never fully left her. But she transformed it. She turned her suffering into a lifelong mission to protect children from experiencing what she had. Hollywood wanted her to be beautiful, to be perfect, to perform, but Audrey Hepburn chose to be human. And maybe that's why she really left. Not because she was broken, but because she refused to pretend she wasn't. Audrey Hepburn taught us that you can survive the unimaginable. That trauma doesn't define you, but how you respond to it does. And that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from what the world expects and choose yourself.
Today and now, on this anniversary day, they have become part of the most comprehensive treaty for the protection and support of children in history.
So here's the question. If we'd known what she was carrying all those years, would we have asked her to smile so much? Drop your thoughts below. And remember, the icons we admire were people first, people with stories we'll never fully know.